Give him a round of applause.
I don't think I put Seattle on the map. I get at the Jimi Hendrix, but okay.
Well, you did. You did, in my opinion. You did, in my opinion. And then to my right, former Seattle Seahawks superstar from Tacoma, my first Seahawks player that I booked for Seahawks Takeover Tuesdays back at the radio station, the one and only Marcus Trufant. Thank you for being here, Marcus.
No problem. Appreciate you for having me, man.
No problem. I appreciate you guys being here, man. What a pleasure and an honor it is. At the end of the day, we're all friends. We're all friends. It's going to be a great show. Also, shout out to my buddy here, Jeremy, from Popeye Energy Drink in the studio, coming, drop some meetings today to beer. I appreciate you being here, Jeremy. Thanks for coming on in.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's get this show kicked off. I mean, we got music in here. We got a major energy drink right now on the horizon, and then we got my boy Marcus Trufant. But let's get this kicked off real quick. So Mix-a-Lot, you and I go back, man. You and I go back a number of years. And we also have a lot in common. So I want to kind of go from back in the day onwards to 2018. So first of all, we went to Roosevelt High School. We're both Rough Riders, right?
Yeah. I came up during busing, man. So when I went to Roosevelt, it was almost black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we took the state championship in basketball.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, man.
You're looking better than ever. You're looking younger than ever. So okay. I was 94. I think you were right around, 91, 92?
I wish.
Yeah,
I wish.
And also, I want to shout him out. We have a lot of people listening right now, not only in Seattle, but nationally and internationally. The one and only, someone that I'm very, very, very grateful to, DJ Nasty Ness.
Yes, sir.
Who really, honestly, he gave me my start in the music business as a kid in high school. He had I'm sure you remember, he had a company called Crazy Pinoy Promotions up there off Madison Street on Capitol Hill. And, I was just a kid, trying to learn the music business. And I knocked on his door one day and he opened the door and he said, man, who's this kid knocking on my door? And we'll talk about that story later when he comes in. But I just thought it was really cool because, as you can relate, Mix, there's not a lot of people.
Oh, Ness is coming today?
Ness is going to be on the show next week via phone. He actually was in Seattle, but I wasn't up and running. Yep. So he's actually listening right now if you want to shout out good old Nasty Ness.
That's my boy, Nasty Ness. You don't let me tell no stories about how I met him, but that's okay.
No, I want you to. That was my next thing on the good old show prep. So please tell everybody right now how you and Ness formulated.
First of all, Ness, we went to the same school, right? He was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. He was about 2 years ahead of me.
Yep.
Scared the hell out of me.
Yep.
Dude was crazy looking, right? Like he was on some Bruce Lee, I'll just whoop your ass on GP kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I tried to avoid him, and I didn't even want to make eye contact with the dude. But fast forward later on, I was like a street DJ, right?
Yep.
So I'm just running around battling, doing all this stuff, trying to get known for something. Broke.
Yep.
And one day he walked into the party. Now, I claimed that I hated radio DJs at the time. I'm like, I can't stand radio. Man, I wish one would walk up in here, right?
Yeah. And this was 1983, right?
This
around
was
82?
around 83.
Yep.
82, 83.
Yep.
And so he walked in, and of course, I started trying to show off and do everything I could to get his attention because I really loved him, but I was trying to act like I hated him.
Right.
Anyway, he kind of, in a weird way, took me under his wing. We ended up being friends. And he was DJing back in the day, 1250 K-Fox, right? So I used to watch him on the air, and that's where I learned about delivery because I didn't rap back then. All I did was DJ.
Yep.
I didn't really rap. I'd rap as a joke.
Yep.
Right? But then I watched Ness he'd be talking like this, man, you crazy, Mix. And it was time to go 1250 K-Fox.
Yeah.
DJ Nasty Ness. I'm like, damn.
Yep.
So I learned really the cadence and how to toss your voice around. And then Ed Locke. I met Ed Locke through Nasty Ness. And Nasty Mix Records is really Nasty Ness and Mix-a-Lot. That's where the whole Nasty Mix name came from.
Right.
And we all collectively kind of started the label. Greg Jones, who doesn't get enough credit, he's the one that funded it initially. And and that's where it started, man. But honestly, man, Ness exposed me to a lot of stuff, especially in New York.
Right.
I did not have a New York pass.
Yep.
They knew I wasn't from here at all, right? So wasn't from there at all. So, but Ness took us out there. We start filling our crates with records and break beats and all. That's where I got all that from, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then how did it feel like, back in the early 80s, like, going platinum as an artist like yourself in those, early years? I mean, what an accomplishment. I mean, like when Ness and Sheila and everybody at Nasty Mix told you that, you were certified platinum, like what was your immediate reaction?
I was, I didn't really understand the levity of it. Yeah, I remember this was an independent label. We're in Seattle.
Right.
I didn't know. I knew it was a million records, but I'm like, is that a lot?
Right.
Because I didn't really have access to major artists.
Right.
Which actually benefited me because I would have tried to imitate them and then I would have sucked.
Yep.
But it was kind of odd, going platinum. I didn't understand my value yet. It took a long time for me to understand what my worth.
Yep.
And so I was out there doing shows at $2,500 when I was platinum.
Right.
It's like, damn, what am I thinking about? By the time I got him, it was too late. Right? But yeah, no, we had a platinum record, independent platinum record in the 80s. Think about that. This is going along with Def Jam and all these guys, and we jumped up with a platinum, and then we followed that with a gold.
And it wasn't just one. I mean, we're talking about, Square Dance Rap. We're talking about My Posse on Broadway, Beepers, My Hoopty. I mean, just to name a few. I mean, so many artists today, and I want to kind of get into this. So many artists today, when they're in the studio, they focus on that one song, and they really kind of bank their career on that one record. And
I don't think artists focus on it. I think the labels focused on it. Most artists, I tell you what, you ask the average honest artist, did they think that the big song was going to be big? And they'll tell you no. They never go, oh yeah, I knew that was going to hit when I did it. No, when I finished the whole album with Baby Got Back on it, I thought One Time's Got No Case was the hit. Rick Rubin was like, dude, this sucks.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't care. It sucks not. Put it out.
Yep.
And it flopped.
Right?
And then Baby Got Back on, of course, he's right out. I was wrong. That's why he's Rubin and they'll mix a lot. So.
Right, exactly. And one thing that I've always your image and your sound and just you as an artist, whether you're on stage, whether all the things that you're handling on the business side, and I just think it's remarkable, like how you've always been able to reinvent yourself to that level, to introduce yourself to a new fan base, and most importantly, at the end of the day, still collect the checks.
Well, I don't fear failure. I really haven't. I mean, a lot of artists, credibility is a strange word. People. So if I shot somebody, I got credibility.
Right.
Man, get out of my face with that. And so I realized that longevity doesn't really come from that. Longevity comes from, kind of understanding who you are and making sure you can find your people first and hope the fire catches.
Absolutely.
So after Posse on Broadway, we did Posse on Broadway, and we did a video. I'm serious. Ness will tell you this. We didn't have permits. We didn't have nothing. We just went down in the street. We couldn't use Dick's though.
Right.
Dick said, no, you can't come here. So we used this place called Stands. And we just shot it with no permits or nothing. We didn't even know we needed permits. So we riding around in limos up and down Broadway with women hanging out of windows and stuff like that. And
well, hopefully you showed up to Macklemore's video shoot that he did at Dick's on Broadway. And
man, I couldn't even get down there, man.
You couldn't get down?
Macklemore will call. Mac will call you like 5 minutes before showtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, man.
I was actually there, and that was an experience how Macklemore pretty much had the Broadway shut down. So, talk about Ness told me something about, and he said he wanted you to explain it better about someone saving someone else's life. Do you remember that? It was back, he said, in the 80s where it was either I believe it was you saved his life, and he said it was a pretty cool story.
There's two stories. One is funny, if that's what he's talking about. The other one I won't say it because that's personal, right?
Okay.
But there was one.
He's talking about the funny one.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So we were in London, England, right? Wembley Arena. We're getting ready to go on stage and we're sound checking. So there's this part in one of my songs where there's like beatbox thing, right? So Ness starts trying to be funny during sound check, and the stage was like, I'm serious, man. When I say 30 feet, I mean 30 feet. We're looking down on the top of people's heads.
It would have been a fall.
Well, it was a fall.
Yeah.
But he saved his own life. I wish I could say I didn't do a damn thing, but was like, oh, I can't cuss. But you know what I mean?
Right.
So he's doing this beatbox thing, he's having fun, and he kind of turns towards us, and he's pointing at us and backs up, and he was just gone.
Yep.
I'm like, what happened? He was gone, and then we just saw the curtain tighten up, like, and he grabbed it and saved his life. He would have been dead, dude. And I'm not exaggerating. That was about at least a 30-foot fall, unexpected. And thank God for curtains.
Well, thank God he didn't pass away, because I don't know if I would have been in the seat that I'm in today if it wasn't for DJ Nasty Ness.
That's just something else, man.
That's just something else.
He used to bring us tracks, man, that we had never heard.
Yep.
And that's where I kind of got my styles from, just listening to other cats and all that. But I listen to a lot of other music too, a lot of rock and shit, like stuff like that.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, no problem. Let's welcome our other special guest here at the time, Marcus Trufant. Now, Marcus, you remember the phone call that you and I specifically had. What year was that? Like, you'll have to help me out. It was a number of years ago. You were a rookie.
Yeah, my rookie year was 2003.
It was 2003.
Yeah.
And I called you up and I said, you know what? I'll tell you the whole story. I'm sure you remember, but I said, I want to do something that no radio station in the country is doing. I want to do an official Seahawks Takeover Tuesdays on my show where I have a Seahawks player. And Mix, you remember, you came down for these, where, a Seahawks player like yourself came in for a 16-week time commitment and took over the show, gave tickets away, personal passes, meet and greets, and you kicked it off for me.
That was a different time, man. That was a different time. Now the Seahawks, I know they got extra security and different stuff like that, things you can't do. But at that time, it was a little bit more free. So, yeah, doing that radio show, we would come down there on our day off, Tuesday, me and Kim Hamlin, as a matter of fact. And we would do the little show and talk about places that was open in downtown Seattle, clubs and this and that. And we would actually go out that night and have to practice the next day. It was a different time.
And I remember you, me, and Ken, we'd go to you'd come with me to some of my club appearances, and we'd go out to dinner, we'd promote the show. And the last thing that I kind of want to say before we talk more about the show was a former market president who I used to work with at the radio station. He said, I'll never forget his quote to me. He said, "Dirty Harry, you'll never be able to pull this off." And I looked at him in his eyes and I said, let me let you into a little secret. I don't take no too well. I will be able to pull it off. And that thing went for 8 years. You were in there, Ken was in there, Walter Thurman was in there, Justin Britt was in there, Robert Turbin was in there, Mark, the list goes on and on and on. So I just think it's, one of the reasons I wanted to have you especially on with Mix, Marcus, for show one was not only the amount of years that you and I go back, but that was a real special moment for me that former president said, you know what? Ain't going to be able to pull it off, and it went 9 years, and it brought in a whole bunch of new sales revenue from endorsements, from appearances like you and I did back in the days. So I really appreciate you being, on my first show today. Studio110.live. If you're just on social media right now, wanting to check out the address, Studio110.live. My brand new show kicking off today, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3. I got the one and only Sir Mix-a-Lot, Marcus Trufant. Got my buddy here, Jeremy from Popeye's Energy Drink. What are you drinking over there, Jeremy?
I'm drinking our Anchor
Get a little closer to the mic for me.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So I'm drinking Anchor and Apple. It's our only flavor where we actually hide the spinach leaf extract in it.
And talk about real quick, just kind of how the brand kind of came under your wings and how you developed it.
Well, I didn't actually get to develop it. The future flavors I do get to develop.
Well, you have developed it in your own kind of creative way from kind of picking up where you left off. You have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I came on early in its first year as a rep.
Yeah.
It was a brand actually out of Southern California, and I was to oversee the Northwest with it. And as time went on, the gentleman who was the financier and the money behind this has other projects, moved on, and as luck would have it, the brand kind of gave me an opportunity to buy out and take hold of it, and now here we are. The brand's GMO free, gluten free. How could I say no to that?
Well, how close do you think we are until Popeye Energy Drink is the official beverage drink of the brand new Dirty Harry show at Studio110.live? Not to put you on the spot, but hopefully a couple weeks away until the studio's filled with Popeye Energy Drinks, and your reps from New York are coming out. And
I think we could arrange that this afternoon.
I think we can too. Yeah, I think we can too. We're doing some big things up here on the 33rd floor. We're not going to give out the exact city that we're in yet because we want to indulge the listeners and not let the cat out of the bag. Tacoma, yes, Tacoma.
T-Town.
Shout out Tacoma, Marcus. There you go.
Yeah, 253. There it is. I appreciate it, Mix.
So, Mix, what do you? I know you're getting ready to embark on a tour, and I think you worked your schedule around specifically to be here for my first show before you go out on the road. So I really appreciate that. I want to sincerely say thank you for that. And let's talk about the tour. Where's it starting? Where's it going? And
it starts in San Diego.
Okay.
And we do a show. We like to start slow. So we do a show, take a couple of days off, do a show, because we do this thing with our voices called cactus.
Uh-huh.
You do one show, you get hoarse.
Right.
Second show, less hoarse. By the time third, you could I'll sing soprano. Right? So we do a show on the 24th, then we do a private show in Vegas on the 27th, then we grind. So we got Albuquerque, New Mexico, Amarillo, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Atlanta, Georgia, Mobile, Alabama, Savannah, Georgia. We go all through Fort Myers, Florida, all over the place, all through Florida though. A lot of East Coast stuff.
And for everybody that doesn't know, is Mix doesn't fly.
That's how you make money on tours.
Right. You do not fly.
I've been teaching artists that for years. They like, y'all fly into New York, do a show, fly into LA, do a show. that looks like paper. But
Right.
flying to LA, do a show, pick up a bus, and grind up the West Coast,
Yep.
and that little $10,000-$15,000 show turns into $150,000.
Right. And how many cities are you doing on this particular tour coming up?
I think it's 47.
47.
Something
Wow.
like that. Yeah, I'll be
47
gone for a
cities.
while, man.
Well, maybe you'll be able to call in on the road and let me know how you're doing on the tour.
All you gonna hear is me snoring.
Well, I'm sure we can arrange a phoner for check in on the Sir Mix-a-Lot tour. And is it going to primarily be kind of the old stuff on the catalog and some of the new stuff? And
I do some new stuff, but what I can't stand is when an artist, is primarily known for a few big tracks that people love, and you get up there and do a medley. I don't do that.
right,
So I'll do a 10-minute version of Baby Got Back because I don't want them pissed off. Because
Yeah.
I'm a fan too, right?
Yep.
And I remember, may he rest in peace, but when Prince came out here and didn't do anything off of Purple Rain, I'm like, oh, come on, bro. I mean, really?
you're talking about the back-to-back shows at Key Arena a number of years ago.
No, he did these at the Showbox.
Oh, the Showbox. Okay.
Yeah, when he had
okay.
the all-girl band, I'm like,
Okay.
not a good look.
Yep.
Before he got to Denver, the fans chewed him up, so I don't do that. I try to give them what they pay for and then give them something extra. I jump out in the crowd, all that stuff. I ain't into and lip syncing is not something old folks do.
And how many other artists are on this tour? Obviously, you're headlining.
It's going to vary.
Okay.
It's going to vary because I'll do, like I said, I'll do the big arenas and I'll be out with Naughty. And I do a lot of shows with Naughty by Nature and those cats, right?
Uh-huh.
They
Yep.
got a show too.
Yep.
So I do a lot of shows with those cats. But then when they fly back to New York, I'll just grind through and knock out Pensacola, Florida and all that. And then they come back to Miami and we'll do Miami. Then I do, I'd like to stay out. If I'm out, get the money.
And you're a new female artist. Did I get it correctly? Takesha, is it Takesha? Tamika, excuse me. I'm sorry.
We've been
Tamika.
working together for years, but now she's artistically in a place that I really like. And for me, I won't put out anything that, in my eyes, doesn't have artistic integrity.
And where's she at right now in terms of getting an album out soon, or what are you focusing on her right now?
The thing about now, man, is that the business has changed so much. I always
Right.
tell people it's like the most consumed art, but the most undervalued simultaneously.
Right.
People don't want to pay for music anymore. They want it free.
Yep.
So first thing we had to do was sit down and figure out how she's going to monetize it.
Yep.
Because the problem with artists is they don't value their work.
No.
Because a young kid has never seen anybody pay for a record. I have, so I know it's worth something.
Yep.
But you see a lot of young kids, they just give the record away and then they just tour.
Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out other ways for her to monetize it to where she doesn't have to grind like I'm doing on the road. I don't want her to have to do that. She'll end up looking like me in 6 months.
Well, you're looking pretty good. So you're looking.
You don't want Tamika to look like me though, bro.
I'm just saying, you're taking care of yourself. So. Yeah.
But nah, man, it's we're gonna put. Nobody does albums anymore, so everything we do will just come from an album.
Okay.
So we'll do a track and release it. Do another track and release it. Then we'll pop out a video and get the content popping. And really, the thing is to get an organic social media outreach, right? Some people. I'll just say this. I did a ad campaign with Procter & Gamble, internet-based. They had did the same ad campaign with another artist who had like 6 million followers, no engagement. I had 35,000 followers and had over 20,000 people enter the contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want her to make sure she has an engaged base, not just a bunch of fake followers. You comment on Michael Jordan and 10 people follow you just because you said Michael Jordan.
Right.
That'll hurt you later.
What are you most excited about this particular tour coming up in terms of, obviously you're excited to engage and have that one-on-one connection if you're doing some green room opportunities backstage at the shows, but what would you say is like when you talk about 47 cities, because most artists today, they're lucky if they do 25 to 30. You're doing 47. I mean, that's impressive.
That's easy if you just grind it. I mean, if you're flying, it's hard. Right. So I'll do like Whitefish, Montana, but I'm getting paid the same amount if I did LA. Right. So, but Whitefish, Montana doesn't have a big airport, so guys don't grab it. So I can go in and take that. I told Tretch. Tretch is like, what? And Tretch has been doing it. He's been grinding. I think he's buying a house. So that's how I do it, man. But I look forward really to seeing people I know because I know somebody everywhere.
Yep.
I mean,
and you always have. You always have.
I got people in every city, man. We kick it, go out and do stuff. Hit the soul food joints. Got to do that.
Yep.
Everywhere I go, whatever the place is known for, I eat it.
Yep.
Well, not everywhere though. I stopped eating all them pork chops and stuff, man. I don't do that no more.
And when you and I talked on the phone a couple weeks ago, we talk all the time, but I was asking you, like, 'cause I know for a while you were, trying to get like kind of customize your own, personal touring vehicle, and is that all?
It's done.
It's done. Talk about it. Let me.
First, I was going for it just to pimp it all the way out, and I realized that's stupid. It's got to make money.
Right.
So I made it. It's kind of a business office. It is.
Describe it like talk. I mean, I haven't even seen it yet.
It's got 4 recliners in it.
Okay.
You know, so the cats can lay back. They can put their feet up, but they have desks. They can put their laptops up there and do what they got to do. I have a setup in the back so I can do either my radio show or I can actually record in the Sprinter. But I put it all the way in the back because I didn't want to hear the noise from the diesel up front. So I got a lot of sound deadening in it. You know, we put some lights in it. There's a couple tacky things in there, though.
That's
like,
okay.
You know, limo companies, man. I'm like, come on, man. What you gonna put in here? A stripper pole or something? I don't want all these laser lights. So, you know, I got an 86, a couple things, but it's a solid. It's good till the wind blows. I ain't gonna lie. Any of y'all got a Sprinter? You know what I'm talking about, man. When the wind hits it, you better find something to do. Go see a movie. I'm telling you.
Yep. Same driver that's doing 47 cities. You got multiple drivers picking
I drive. I don't let nobody drive.
Oh, you're driving.
I love driving, man. That's
wow.
me, man. My dad got me into that.
So if you're listening and let's say you're in, Detroit or Miami or New Hampshire, wherever you're listening, if you see a pretty nice next level Sprinter pass you on the freeway, look over and it's, most likely it's going to be the one and only Sir Mix-a-Lot. So
I be grinding, man. But
they're
they're gonna stay out with me. Sometimes I fly them back, the guys back, but they like the Sprinter. Now they're spoiled.
Yep.
No, we'll just stay out there. We'll just get a hotel, chill.
Yep.
You know.
Marcus, let's catch up here. What have you been working on? Obviously, you've got that. You developed a nice radio show with your co-host. I thought your co-host was going to be here, but we'll get him on the next show. And you've had a lot of amazing bowling celebrity, parties that I know have been successful for you. And you definitely do a lot of engagement in the city. In Tacoma, you're always giving back on charities and. You're definitely, you're a face in the community. It's not like you've moved away to South Beach, Miami, and said, you know what, screw Seattle. So, what have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Like you said, I'm a Washingtonian, so I'm from Tacoma, but I like to give back here. I like to be here. I like to do business here, and I like to be involved in the community. That's kind of where the radio show comes from. Just as a player, I wasn't very vocal and stuff like that. I wasn't a guy that you would see in commercials or a guy that's talking a bunch of trash on the field, doing a bunch of crazy stuff like that. But after you're done playing, you kind of got to reinvent yourself. And I still wanted to have a base, to have a face out in the community, a name that people still recognize. I'm done on the field, but I still wanted to be able to do stuff. I want to be able to have these charity events. I want to be able to do stuff. So people got to know who you are. They got to know what you're doing. They got to know where you're at. A lot of that comes with the social media and stuff like that. And at first, I didn't even want to do that. During my time, I was right on the tail end of that when it really started to pop and get popular. My last year was 2012, but around like 2010, there was a lot of guys on the team that was doing all that stuff. And I was one of the older guys in the locker room. So I was like, I don't want people in my business type thing. That's kind of, that's kind of where I come from. But, yeah, I've been doing these bowling events. I
love bowling. For example, and I'll shout them out right now. West Seattle Bowl, Monday nights, they do an amazing promotion. If you guys like to bowl out there, you'll catch me down there. $1 bowling nights.
Get out of here.
$1 bowling nights on Monday nights, $2 shoe rental. So, Mix, when you get back from the tour, if you like to throw down the ball.
Rolling, man, for $1.
Yeah.
Baseballs?
Yeah, $1 bowling night and $2 shoe rentals. So it beats other bowling establishments out here in the Great Northwest. So I definitely commemorate you, Marcus, for doing the bowling. When's the next one? Do you have one on the books?
Well, we do it around November, October-ish every year, and we have to schedule around the current guys and their different events because I like to get a lot of those guys to come out. A lot of people, you say my name, but you say Richard Sherman. I guess you can't say him anymore because he's gone. But other guys that's on the team that's current, I like to bring them out too and get the fans exactly what they want. So around the Christmas time, I'll be doing it.
What is your take? Let's touch on it right now. What's your take on obviously what the Hawks organization's been doing? With
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. With Sherman and letting a lot of talented players go. And before I give you the mic here, Marcus, is the thing that frustrates me as a Seahawks fan that goes to games is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is whenever a player leaves the team to go to another team, they become incredibly better. They become just so much incredibly better, and if I was in Sherman's position, or any player out there in that position, obviously as a 49er, you come back here, you're going to want to stomp all over your old team, just because just the rivalry and everything built up. But I'm sure you're friends with a lot of these guys on the roster that have moved on to bigger and better opportunities. At the end of the day, money's money. But from a player standpoint, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's always about the money. Just like you said, it's about business. And that's on both sides. That's on the player side, and that's on the organization side. Richard Sherman can't be a Seahawk for 50 years. It doesn't work like that. So eventually, he's going to have to move on to where he either retires or he gets hurt or something happens and you just move on. So this is one of those things that I think in Richard Sherman's case, he sees his value as different than the organization sees it. I went through it as a player. My last years, I was hurt though, so I kind of had to take what I can get. I always tell people for my last couple of years, I felt like I stole money because, to be honest, I didn't have to be on the team, but they came to me and was like, "True, okay, if you want to be on the team, you got to take a pay cut." And I took it because if I knew if I went somewhere else, I might not get that opportunity. So I did that, but in Richard Sherman's case, he's coming off an injury. He's young. He's still doing well, so he can go out and ball. And as you see, the 49ers, they value him very high, and I think that's just really what it came down to. Sherm, you can say what you want to, that he's going to be out for the Hawks. He wants to come back, and he wants to play well, of course, but it's really about the money.
Right. $39 million for 3 years, right? Is that what I heard?
What do he have? $39 million.
3 years.
3 years, something like that. So that's some good coin.
Yeah. And Frank, I think Frank, what did I heard Frank's deal was pretty was up there too in the 40s or 50s, but I know it recently happened. So you know what? I wish these guys only the best in their career. And like I said, business is business and money's money, and you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your family. Yeah, please.
I want to say one thing on this. I had there was a big Twitter fire that started because I made a comment to Richard Sherman, basically saying,
"Let's talk about it."
Yeah, I just told him I wished him luck, but I also pointed out the fact that hopefully people saw what happened to him and understood why he was talking about the way athletes negotiate deals needs to change. It really, what Richard said that I didn't understand it at first, and then I saw what happened to him and I really paid attention to it. What Richard was saying is front load your deals and make them short term, like NBA deals.
Yep.
Right? Because even though you might get a $150 million deal, but only $30 million is guaranteed. So why are you giving them the option for those extra years? Something he said a while back, and people torched him. One guy responded and said, "Listen to you two millionaires. You guys can't live on $2 million a year." Did you say that about Paul Allen?
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I mean? It's like the capital's being generated, so he wants his worth.
Yep.
And it frustrates me when I'm sure as a player, when the fans blame it on the athlete. The man had an Achilles and they dropped him, right? What's he supposed to do?
Right, exactly.
He burned his jersey. Y'all see the
man,
jersey
how
burned
do you do
it?
that? Yeah. I'm probably the oldest one in this room, so let me say this. I saw Jim Zorn, all right? I saw when they sucked.
Yep.
I saw Dave Craig. I lived through those years.
Steve Largent. Yep.
And that defense, Bennett, all those guys, man, there was something that changed in this town because it used to be the only people you saw at the Seahawks game was cats at a Starbucks.
Yep.
Now you see big, crazy, pot-belly fans just going nuts.
Yep.
And it turned this town, man. For people to now all of a sudden get mad at him because he wants his value. I mean, if you're a welder, can I just walk in because you twisted your ankle and tell you, well, we're going to give you a pay cut?
Right.
No, you're going to go somewhere else.
Doesn't
and
work like that. No,
it's just business. I just wanted to say that because
I'm glad you did.
It's unfair the way people are jumping on him and Michael Bennett. It tripped me out, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree too. It's like I said earlier on my show here, Studio110.live, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3. If you're just tuning in right now, I got two very special guests. Not to say that you're not special, Jeremy. I mean, you're a personal friend, so you are special. But I got Jeremy Todd, I got Sir Mix-a-Lot, I got Marcus Trufant, and I haven't shouted out my wonderful producer, my show producer, and my assistant, my right hand, Erica. We won't say people's last names for security purposes, but Erica definitely has done a tremendous amount of work, Erica, and I want to thank you.
She's awesome.
I want to thank you, Erica, for I'm putting you on the spot here, so I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've done.
Where you meet Erica at, man?
Erica was actually was introduced to me through Aaron here. Aaron is one of the partners up here. Aaron is on the tech side. You had an opportunity to meet Aaron before, and Aaron is one of the smart brains up here, and I'm very glad with Aaron's.
I was coming in here, man, and I'm looking for an Erica. So I'm thinking, I do TV and stuff all the time. I'm thinking it's gonna be a girl with some headphones on, kind of built like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I see her, but I'm like, nah, that can't be her. She's just too fine. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah.
And it was her. I'm like, damn.
And and you're familiar with radio mix. I mean, you're familiar with radio. I mean, how many show producers and then assistants in your time in the music business, are at Erica's standards? I mean,
Zero.
See, Erica?
Zero. Most of them chicks look like me. Real talk. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man.
And Marcus, would you agree on that too?
I would agree as well, and I'm new in the game, so now I guess my standard is high now. If this is how it's supposed to look, I'm trying to follow what you're doing, man.
Right. Well,
I'm firing all my producers right now. Please.
Well, Marcus, both of you, I want you guys to be regular guests on my show, and Mix, obviously, 47 cities have to take the priority, but Marcus, you said you'll be as regularly as you can, and I didn't get a chance to also personally thank you for. You're leaving tomorrow, but you rerouted your trip that you're leaving tomorrow to be here for my brand new kickoff show. So I really appreciate that, man.
No problem. I got your back, man. I got you.
I appreciate that, man. We go way back. So it's all about relationships and not burning bridges, especially in the music business and radio. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that, and they pay the price.
This is all businesses.
Yep.
Trust me. Try the record business.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely cutthroat. Cutthroat. Marcus, any interests in, meaning to ask you this, and, you'd obviously be a strong candidate, but any interest to, get on, back with a team and organization on a coaching capacity or representing players just with your knowledge and, background, in the NFL arena?
Well, I get this question all the time. As far as coaching, I tell people that I want nothing to do with coaching at all. Because as a player, you put in tons of time and you miss holidays, you miss birthdays, just like in the music business and anything. You miss so much time away from your family. I'm a family guy. I got 5 kids. I got a wife. So, I like being involved. I like to go to those ballet recitals. I like to go to those sports games, all that kind of stuff. So in being a coach, you spend more time actually than the players do in the building. So I have no interest in doing that, but what I would say as far as on the NFL level, to be able to be like a mentor or something like that for guys that even while they're playing, but even more so in the transition away from the game and what you have to do and what your mindset has to be and how you have to reinvent yourself. I know you were a football player, but you're 29, 30-something years old. After you're done, and you got a lot of life to live, and that's why you hear about all these horror stories, and you see the stuff on ESPN, the guys going broke, you got the stuff with suicides, there's all these stuffs in your relationships, so you got to have a plan, and that's really what it's about, and I'm still learning. I hear the stuff that Mix is talking about, how you save money, and you cut corners, and you do this and do that, all that's game, and you got to soak that up, and you got to learn that, and you got to be not too big or too proud to ask for help and just soak up some game and learn. And that's what I'm here to do, is teach some of the younger guys that are coming up and just try to help. I would love to do that. So eventually I would like to maybe go over to the Seahawks and be able to sit down with them and talk to players that are going to be in my position, in due time.
Yep.
So, and just be able to give back in that way.
That's interesting. I want to chime in real quick because
you're the co-host today, Mick. So.
I just got to ask.
You're the co-host.
You're
the co-host.
I totally agree with everything you just said, but when you're dealing with a group of people, in my situation, it was like rap artists. In situations like athletes, they make their money with their bravado and confidence and almost arrogance. You have to have that, right? But how do you tell that same dude, hey man, when you flip the 2 Bentleys, it really wasn't necessary, bro. And then you hating, right?
Right, and that's what it is. And at the same time, I think you gotta show and prove just to be able to get in the room with them. So, I've done pretty well. I transition to what I do. I'm involved with self-storage in those buildings. So that's been my major transition from the game. So it's not sexy. It's not the cutest thing, but it's been good for me. So just doing stuff like that and learning from people and not being too proud. And just like you said, you have to have that about you. But at the same time, you got to be able to be a student of the game, and a lot of athletes are that. So if they can see something like I look at Mix, and I want to learn what he's doing. I want to learn the game in that way, and I think you got to get with those certain guys, and certain guys have to learn the hard way, or whether they of course they fall and they trip and stuff may happen, but then they look to you and then they reaching out to you. So I always want to be just want to be in that position to where I can help guys like that.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I went completely bankrupt.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I went in the mid-'90s, man, and it was like a combination of the IRS and all this stuff. So at first, it was everybody else's fault. It's like, oh man, my homie did this, so and so did this, this girl did that, right? And I realized nothing good was happening because my spirit was in the wrong spot.
Right.
And I didn't realize that for a long time. And then I just made up my mind. All right, you know what? About to switch this up and start grinding and getting back. Not that I was gonna try to make another baby got back, because that's stupid. When you do that, you look desperate, right?
Yep.
But I started diversifying and finding other ways to make money. And then all of a sudden, the Pussycat Dolls called, and Ness told me about the track, and they called wanted to use Swass, and bam! But I knew this time. I said, when this one blow up, this ain't happening again. And I had a buddy of mine tell me, he said he never met a rich man and went broke twice.
It's true.
That's heavy. That's heavy right there.
That
Yeah.
second opportunity, I'm like, I'm serious. Not that I'm the Grinch, but I can look at something now and I can appreciate the beauty of it.
Yep.
You know, I'm a car freak, but I got a Lamborghini Aventador. I'm good.
You're reading my mind, so I just wanted to get in actually to the car collection. You're an avid car collector. People see you.
I used to be a collector. I stopped doing that.
Well, people see you in the Lambo clubs. You know, you're around in the Lambo clubs when you're here before you're touring and doing shows. So what do you got right now in the parking lot at the house?
I'm on a car diet, man. So I got the Lamborghini. I got a S550 Benz, you know, and I'm getting ready. It's a lease. That's nothing. You athletes, entertainers, lease them Benzes, because they ain't worth that. The resale on them is garbage.
Yep.
Just lease it. Put a minimum amount down. If you got a lot of bread, I always say put zero down. Lease it for 3 years. Make all your payments with one payment and give it back in 3 years because it's worthless.
Yep.
And just treat it like toilet tissue. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. So I got the Benz. I'm about to, I don't know, I might go into a S63 or something different. And I got the Sprinter. And I got an Infiniti QX80, and that's it.
I thought you had a truck too.
Yeah, no, the QX80 is a truck.
Oh, the QX80 is a truck. Okay.
You know, I don't do no pickup trucks. Stop doing that. But I'm telling you the truth. I'm more into, you know, I got 3 nice pieces of real estate. You know, 4 really, if you include. I had the adjacent land next to my house, and I found out from a bunch of friends that I have, Tom Nault and guys in my car club, they taught me that a rich man's retirement plan is real estate, not just a 401k.
Yeah.
And I realized that when you can knock that principal down, and you say that's it and hang it up, that real estate, all you do is flip one crib.
And what do you got right now? The real estate portfolio.
I got a couple of homes here. I got about an 11,000 square footer in Auburn.
Great.
That's on 10 acres. I got.
Is that the new? One. Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where the home studio is, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where the home studio is. And I had another one in Auburn that was only a mile from that one. I sold that. And then I got the one that my mom was in, and I'm gonna hang on to that one for a minute. And I got another piece of a 10 acre piece next to my new one, and then an 80 acre piece in Eastern Washington. I wish that we got some kind of not a homeowners association, but a landowners association. They're the dumbest people I ever met in my life. Yep. They're trying to figure out what to do with this. Like, we're gonna have farms. It's Moses Lake, ain't nothing but dust. Yeah. What are the cows gonna eat? Yeah. It's like, I don't understand. I got a cat right now, right? Wants to do this marijuana thing. I said he can use my land, not other people. No, we don't want him to do that. What y'all gonna do? We just gonna sit there and look at this dirt for? I've had it. Don't get me started, man.
But seriously though, at the end of the day though, like if it's your land though, and you bring up a good point though about the marijuana side of the business. Obviously, more and more people are getting into it. They see the potential. A lot of people are getting on the
guys doing the stores. You missing the boat. That's my opinion. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's money in it, but I'm gonna throw this out there.
Please do.
Just saying it. I don't even smoke weed. Don't smoke weed, don't drink, don't smoke cigarettes, none of that. But
I don't either.
I'm a businessman, and I'm telling you right now, you can do it at the retail level, and eventually you're going to get wiped out. However, right now, it is not legal in all 50 states.
Correct.
Federally, it's not legal, correct?
Correct.
Which means that when Philip Morris decides we're going to sell weed, California, Oregon, and Washington, where are they going to get it from? You dumb bastards. You own the property. Right. And you grow. You put the grows together. And then Philip Morris comes to town and they go, oh, we already got somebody set up right here. Let's just buy him out. Yep. Boom. You turned it. You're gone. Yep. That's where the money's at. And I see one of my buddies in California starting to. There's Tamika.
We got it. Come on in. Go on.
Come on in. You can sit here with Jeremy.
Please have my seat.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, Mix, before we get to your artist here, take a seat right here, please. Before we get to your artist, you mentioned something just a second ago about how either it was the neighbors or whoever was giving you a hard time. But at the end of the day, it's your property. So, like,
Well,
I mean,
what it is that there was one family that owned like 14,000 acres, right? And they sold it with the understanding that whatever were to happen with it because of the county, we all had to do the same thing.
yep.
So my initial idea, this is before the whole legalization thing, I said, well, look, if you really can't do farms here. The water table's at 300 feet. So we could do houses. We were going to do upper middle income homes because BMW was going to do a plant in Moses Lake. And then they got taxed by our governor, who then was Christine Gregoire, and they left. They went to North Carolina, something you hear all the time. So we couldn't really work on that. I thought about windmills. They're like, no, we don't want to do that. I'm like, oh my God. It's a bunch of hillbillies, man.
That would bother me though. Like if I had, I mean, obviously, I don't, but 11,000 square feet of property, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do with it. And
Oh no, I'm not talking about my house. I'm talking about Moses Lake. I got 80 acres.
Yeah,
And
no.
It's like, man, you better. What are we gonna do? It's just dust.
no, but I thought you also mentioned something though about your house. The neighbors around your house were giving you a
Oh,
hard
ain't
time.
nobody bothering me about my house.
No? Okay.
No. I got one dude, real cool, Russian dude. We take care of each other. We good. Because
Good.
I got a 150 kW generator. When my power go out, he's happy because he plugs right into me.
It's good to have a backup generator.
Yeah, that
yes.
way he can't say nothing. I could fart outside and on his front porch, he wouldn't say nothing. I could plug him in.
Let's give your special guest here who just walked in the studio. If you don't mind, put the headphones on here and.
She didn't know she was gonna be on there.
Well, you know what? Anything can happen on my brand new show.
She's sitting here like, I'm telling you, I didn't know. So
If you don't want to be on, no problem. But I thought, hey, you're Mix's artist, and Mix is a close dear friend of mine for many years. If you just want to introduce yourself and let everybody know, you're on Studio 110.live, my brand new show, Dirty Harry in the afternoons. Coming back to the radio business. I missed it, and extremely happy to be back. But welcome to my show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I like your jacket. I'm super into fashion, and I can appreciate. See my leather jacket here behind me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I can appreciate the look all day.
Oh, Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Harris likes a few things, but we won't say that on the air because he can say more about me than I can say about him. So we'll leave that alone.
Well, we're going to talk about fashion too, especially my guy Jimmy, who I connected you with in New Jersey.
Jimmy's cool.
But let's talk about you.
Oh, okay. Well,
I want to learn more about you. And so does my boy Marcus over here.
Yes,
Have you
I
guys
do.
officially met here?
No, I
This
am
is Marcus Trufant.
Very nice to meet you.
Hi, very nice to meet you.
A
Yes.
star
I know
player.
who
This
he is.
okay. All right.
I don't know him, but I know him.
Very nice to meet you.
Yes. Tacoma, right?
T-Town.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, man, that's 2 shout-outs today, Harry.
There you
So,
go.
Hey.
Many more to come, Marcus.
Yes,
This is
sir.
only the beginning.
Yes, sir.
I went to Lincoln. Shout out to Lincoln High
Oh,
School.
okay.
I went to Roosevelt.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to Roosevelt.
That's not there.
And she says, "Oh, not really realizing that Mix and I both went there." But,
I think
Right.
T-Town got it right now. Let's just sit down and let them handle this.
So let's talk about you.
All right. Well, my name is Tamika Williams. I am a soul artist and working on a new project called Beautifully Complicated. And yeah, it's been a journey. So
Great. Beautifully
Always.
complicated. So I want to hear more about Beautifully Complicated. When can we expect it? What surprises do you have up your sleeves? I mean, you're one of Mix's artists, so obviously you're in a better position than most people. So
yeah, I mean, I think, well, we worked on a project called The Black Hood a couple years ago, and that was when I was exploring music, exploring like what I wanted to do. So we did a lot of different genres with rock, hip hop, R&B, and then finally, took a while, went back to school and just had some life experiences and thought, I'm much older, I had heartbreak, a real heartbreak, and wanted to talk about just life. So we decided to just do what we normally do, which is just sit around, have lunch, dinner, and just talk about subjects, just life. And of course we get into it sometimes, and then we just decided, hey, let's just start doing music. So it's just been a free thing for me to do this time around, instead of just trying to make a hit or trying to do something that's going to be played on the radio. It's just I want to do music, what I love to do, and that's my passion. So we've just been recording and just playing by ear. Let's see, the first single, Cry.
Yeah, we're working on that tonight.
when can I expect to hear Cry? When can I play it on my show?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Can I have you first to play it with your permission?
I guess so. You know, it ain't like it used to be. Oh, sorry, we can't give you that. We got to.
Ricardo signed off on it.
No, Ricardo, he's cool. You know, but the song, she's not giving herself enough credit because anybody that knows me knows I don't just produce artists.
No, you don't.
Because it's kind of takes the fun out of it.
Yep.
When somebody says I want to make a hit, it sounds like come on, man, let's make music.
Yep.
And then if it hits, if it doesn't. But when you try to make it, you get disappointed.
Yep.
And we were just sitting there one day trying to come up with something. And this song was another song. This Cry song was another song that I came up with some music for. And she said, I'm going to do some stuff in 4/3 time, right? So it turned into almost some Otis Redding, like boom.
Really? I like that.
You know,
I like it.
Chord progressions and stuff like that. My mom heard it. And she's like, that's real music. You know? So I knew we're having fun exploring it.
Great.
But for me, I don't want to take the front seat on it because if I do, then she's only as big as I used to be. Right? And if she's going to reach her max potential, I'll help her get to that point. Then I'll pull back. Just watch it.
That's great. How did you meet? How did the initial engagement happen?
Oh gosh, that's pretty funny. I was on the talent show scene, trying to do talent shows and so forth. And I met this gentleman who worked at a radio station and was like, "Hey, I want to get you out there," and so forth. And he had said that he knew Mix. And at first I was like, oh, okay, what they gotta do with me? He rap. I don't do rap. And so he was like, no, you didn't meet him. And so he had set this meeting up, and he never showed up. So I ended up going to the meeting by myself. And we met and talked for a minute, and that was that. And then I think he called me, about 2 weeks later? Called me about 2 weeks later, and we actually just had a straight up conversation. We talked for hours, and then we decided to, work together. And that person just didn't work out, but we started.
Those managers like,
one of those. But we developed, started talking about what I wanted to do. And I was pretty young. I mean, I was still my dad come with me to his studio to record.
The song, I think the word slut in it.
It had ass, actually.
It was ass. I looked down, he's like, I will come up in there like, no, sir, this is, this is, I make sure I correct it.
Yeah.
But I respected that. It was like, okay, she's got that. She has a family that I don't have in my family, even though I have a big family. We're all over the place, somewhere in Vegas, but when I saw that family unit like that, I hadn't seen that since I was a kid. So it's like, I tell her, don't ever let that go.
Right.
Hang on to that for dear life.
And speaking of that, I want to get back to you, but you just mentioned something about family, and another thing that Mix and I have in common. I'm not going to touch on it deeply, but the way Mix took care of his mother was so special to me. And I'm not going to get too into it because I respect people's privacy, but the reason him and I are so similar on that is I took care of my mother before I lost my mother. And Mix and I have something in common. You don't put your family members in any sort of facilities if you can afford not to. And Mix was one of the best sons that I can ever recall that I've ever met. Who took care of his mom the way you take care of your mom. And that's always Mix and I go back, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And I just always, every time I talk to him, I always asked him, unfortunately his mom is passed. But I just really reminded me of how I took care of my grandmother and had dinner with her every evening. I had breakfast visited with her, and so Mix, I can't give you enough amount of credit for being the son you were to your mother.
Oh man, for me, it's funny is I'm kind of glad that when that stuff kind of happened with my mom, I was older. Because there's a obsession you have when you're 20, 30, you think about the next paycheck, next fine chick, the next whatever. You're not really on that. And mom's okay. And my sister's the one that changed me.
Yep.
Yeah, she came up here and I don't know. I was still doing good, but she's just like, you need to slow down and kick it with mom.
Yep.
Not when she's sick. Not when she don't see her when she's down and out. kick it with her. Take her out to dinner, and that we were like this, best friends.
Yep.
You know, how many times did I tell you? I would see where you used to work, and I'd be like, take mom's cheesecake factory. That's what we did every day. When I do something, and Tamika's like that on steroids. And people were like, a couple of the guys were like teasing her, like, your mama's girl, and daddy, I'm like, stay that way. Believe that, because when you ain't got one, too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real talk.
What?
Sorry, Mix, I can't thank you enough for joining the show. Marcus Trufant, and introduce yourself again, please, to the listening audience.
This is Tamika Williams. That's who I am.
Awesome. And before we go to a quick 5-minute break here on the show, I want to ask you, because I always like to ask artists a few different questions. My first question is, any artist out there that you could do a collaboration with or be featured on their record, or you be featured on their record, who's that one artist that you would love to have the opportunity to record with?
Ooh. Are you asking me?
I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do they have to be alive?
Be hard if it wasn't.
It's fantasy stuff.
Yeah. You could go to the grave and try to do something.
Yeah.
Who would that be? You know, the typical answer would be Beyonce, which I love.